Brace yourself for a legendary tale from Texas, where the past refuses to stay buried and unseen forces guide your fate. In San Antonio, there's a chilling railroad crossing known as the Ghost Tracks. Legend says that if you park your car in neutral on these tracks, where a school bus full of children tragically died, an invisible force, the spirits of those lost children, will push your vehicle safely across to prevent another tragedy. Many drivers claim to have experienced this eerie phenomenon, some even finding small, dusty handprints on their car's trunk, a silent testament to the helpful, lingering presence of the spectral children.
This story was sent to me by someone named Mark. He owns a ranch in West Texas, and he doesn't go near the north fence anymore. I've lived on this land since I was a kid. My dad left me the ranch, and I've been managing it solo since 2014. We've got a few dozen head of cattle, some goats, a couple horses. Nothing fancy, just enough to keep me busy and out of town. The property stretches a few miles across dry brush and low hills. Nearest neighbors half a mile off. Only real noise at night is the wind and the cows chewing fence posts. At least, that's how it used to be. The first time I heard the bell, it was late fall, just after 11 p.m. I was on the porch sipping a beer, listening to coyotes way off in the dark. Then came this sound. Ding. Slow and clear. Like a cowbell right out at the fence line. I figured one of the cows had wandered too far down the eastern slope. Grabbed a flashlight and headed out. Took me maybe 10 minutes to reach the fence. There was no cow, just a bell, a real old cowbell hanging from the top rail, swinging. Not hard, but enough to keep ringing. Here's the weird part. There was no string, no nail, nothing attaching it. Just the bell, balanced on the top of the post like someone placed it there. Not a single boot print or hoof in the dirt. Ground was soft from recent rain. Should have shown something. I took the bell off and brought it back to the barn. Figured some kid was messing with me. Next night, same time, 11:17 p.m., same sound, went out again, nothing there. But the bell was back, this time on the next post over. Same kind, same dull bronze color. I didn't bring it back. I tossed it into the weeds. Night after that, ding, same time, same spot. Now, I was starting to lose it. I called my neighbor, Hank, told him what was going on. "You sure it's not one of yours wandering?" he asked. "Cows don't hang bells," I said. We walked the fence line together that afternoon. Didn't find anything. I asked if he'd seen any kids or hunters near the property. He said, "Ain't nobody dumb enough to trespass out here. Too many guns." The next night I sat on the porch again. Coffee this time, no beer, just listening. Ding. Grabbed my rifle and flashlight and went out fast. No hesitation. Got to the fence. No cow, no person, just the bell. Again, still swinging. I leveled the rifle and scanned the field. Nothing but sagebrush and shadows. Then I saw something. Just past the fence. 2 poles, wood, about my height. They weren't there earlier. They were stuck in the ground like goalposts. And tied between them, a rope, a third bell hanging in the middle, no wind, but it started swinging, on its own, ding, ding, ding. I backed up, walked, didn't run, straight to the house, locked the doors, turned off the lights, sat at the window with the rifle until sunrise. In the morning, I drove straight out there with the truck. No posts, no rope, no bell, just a ring of worn grass and hoof prints. Thing is, I hadn't moved the cattle out that way in weeks. I don't know what I'm dealing with. I've lived here 40 years and never had this kind of trouble. But here's what's messed me up the most. 2 nights ago, I installed a trail cam near the fence. Last night, at 11:17, it triggered. I checked the footage this morning. 32 seconds of black and white stillness. Then, movement. Not a person, just the bell. It drops from the sky, like someone above the frame let it go. It bounces once on the post and starts ringing. Then I hear it, on the footage. Someone whispering, just loud enough to hear, "Mark." I don't sit outside at night anymore. And I never go out past 11:15, because I know what I'll hear. And now I know it's not just a bell, it's a call. I've shown a lot of rural homes in my career. Only one made me feel like I was being hunted. I'm a real estate agent based out of San Angelo, Texas. I've seen my share of weird properties. Homes with raccoons in the attic, squatter damage, even one with snakes under the floorboards. But this one I still think about at night. It was a farmhouse listed way out past the county line. Middle of nowhere. The kind of place with no visible neighbors and barely a dirt road leading up to it. No electricity, no internet, just silence and dry wind. The seller was a bank, foreclosure property, no key required, just one of those lockbox codes. I had a potential buyer coming with me, a retired guy named Darren. Said he wanted somewhere peaceful to retire, far from people. We met at the old mailbox and drove up the dirt road together. The house sat on a slight hill. 2-story white farmhouse, wraparound porch, rusted wind vane spinning slowly in the heat. Looked like nobody had lived there in years, but the grass was oddly short, like someone still came out to trim it. We parked side by side in the gravel loop. That's when I saw him. A man, sitting on the porch in a wooden chair, middle-aged, wearing jeans and a button-down shirt, straw hat tilted over his face. He didn't look at us, didn't move. "Is that the cellar?" Darren asked. I shook my head. It's supposed to be vacant. We both stood there for a second, unsure. I waved, called out a simple, "Hey there." The guy didn't respond. That's when Darren said, "Let's go around back. Maybe there's another entrance." I agreed. We circled the house, walked past the kitchen windows and headed toward the back steps. Nobody there, no movement inside. We opened the back door with the lockbox code. The house smelled dusty, but nothing too bad. Floors creaked under our shoes. We checked the downstairs. Empty rooms, peeling wallpaper, old furniture covered in sheets. When we came around front to the living room, Darren stopped. He pointed out the window. The chair on the porch, he was still there, same posture, same position. Except we didn't hear him move. Not a single step or floorboard. If he'd gone from the porch to the front window in that time, we would have heard something. Darren stepped back. I opened the front door and peeked out. The porch was empty, but the chair was still rocking, back and forth. I stepped outside and looked around. "Sir," I said again, louder this time, "this house isn't supposed to be occupied." Still no answer. Darren joined me on the porch. We checked the yard, nobody in sight. He looked nervous. "Let's just check upstairs and go." I agreed. Upstairs was more of the same. Dust, creaky wood, old bedrooms. Except for one room, the door was cracked open. Inside, nothing but a mattress and a single photo on the floor. I picked it up. It was a Polaroid of the porch. The same chair, same angle, and someone sitting in it. Me, but it was impossible. That photo didn't exist 10 minutes ago. I backed out of the room and told Darren we were leaving. As we made our way downstairs, I looked out the front window again, and he was back, sitting in the chair, still, hat tilted, hands on knees, like he never left. We didn't even bother locking the door. We just walked quickly to the cars and got in. Darren drove off first. I stayed long enough to look up at the porch one last time. Empty again, but the chair had stopped rocking. Later that evening, I called the bank to ask if anyone had been checking the place. Maybe a groundskeeper or inspector. They said no one had been out there in over a year. The property sold 3 months later to someone else. Young couple. I never followed up, but sometimes when I drive out near that area, I swear I see that same man, standing at the edge of the road, facing the car, not moving. I'm a mechanic. I don't scare easy. But after this, I don't drive that stretch of a highway after dark, ever. A few months ago, I was out near Marathon, Texas, helping a buddy pick up a parts hauler from an auction. We'd driven separate trucks, and on the way back, I took the long route, Highway 90, because it cuts right through the hills and saves about 25 minutes. That's where I passed it. An old gas station, just sitting there off the side of the road. Boarded windows, dust-covered signs. No roof over the pumps. I must have passed it 100 times over the years, but this time something caught my eye. The front door was open. Now, I'm not the kind of guy who pokes around abandoned places for fun, but I figured maybe some drifter had broken in or something shady was going on. So I pulled over. There was no other car nearby. I stepped inside, flashlight in hand. The air was dry and stale, thick with that hot wood rot smell. Shelves knocked over. Dust on everything. Behind the counter was a little desk, stained yellow. On top of it, a logbook, an old-style fuel log, handwritten entries. Some dated back to the 90s. Plate numbers, gallons purchased, timestamps. I flipped through it. Most of it was normal. Random names, vehicles, gas amounts. Then I hit the back page. The last entry was written in red pen. It had tomorrow's date, and it listed my license plate number. I stood there frozen. I hadn't even parked near the front. How would anyone have seen my plate? I backed out slowly, got in my truck and locked the doors. My first instinct was that someone was playing a trick. Maybe the logbook was planted. But then I realized something. My plate wasn't easily visible. I'd parked at an angle, rear tires dipped into the shoulder ditch. You'd have to walk right up behind me to read it, or already know it. I turned the truck around and floored it out of there. Didn't stop until I hit the main road. That night, I parked my truck in my garage, closed the door, sat on the couch and just stared at nothing. Next morning, I had to drive out to Fort Stockton for a job. I opened the garage, and I swear to God, there was red pen writing on my back window, just a time. 11:46 a.m. I checked the clock. It was 11:42. I didn't wait to find out what was supposed to happen. I called in sick and spent the whole day at a friend's place across town. Later that week, I went back out to Highway 90. The gas station, gone, no boards, no desk, no building, just a patch of dry dirt and tire tracks. Now, every time I check my rearview mirror and don't see anyone behind me, I wonder, is that better or worse?